Okay, this is the Sidekick Mastermind segment. This morning I haven't been feeling the greatest, but I have to get started going anyway. And the reality of things is that I've got to focus on getting customers, getting people behind this, and gaining traction. That's all that matters. Traction is all that matters. It's not so much the finances part, getting like deposits from people is important, but just getting people saying, yes, I want this, I want to be a part of this, I want to work for the company, I want to live in the cities, the villages. That's what it's about. And why would people want to live, work, play, love, learn, and pay it forward? Well, it's because those are human needs. Today being about paying it forward, that's what these communities, these cities, these villages are really about. It's about paying it forward so that we can take the best and spread it around. Even since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be able to work from home and have the freedom to just stay home and be sick if I was sick. Or, uh, you know, like, it's not about stopping the contribution, it's about stopping the unneeded things that added stresses to my life. Every time I leave home, um, I think a lot of people are like that. But for me, it was kind of an overwhelming obsession because I can do more if I have the technology and I can connect into, the internet matrix. That's what a lot of people fail to realize. It is reality because you are connecting to other people. You are connecting to other people's realities. You're creating a new reality. And that's what paying it forward is about. It's about creating a new reality by spreading positive. So welcome to Hack This Show. This is now the Grab ATTN segment. Now, I didn't really talk about this segment or go over this segment yesterday. This is episode 10, and the thing that I wanted to talk about was that Gary Vaynerchuk is stopping the daily V and going to a weekly V format. Now it's interesting because I was talking about a daily or weekly show long ago, and that's why I went to this format because I was doing multiple daily shows and then putting them into one, making it more of like a weekly format. So I have intentions for each of these individual segments and using it for additional marketing. But what I'm really getting at is that it's interesting he's going to that weekly format. I understand why he's doing it because he wants to have a higher production value. Because when you're not focused on a daily and you're focused on a weekly, you can do that higher production value. And I think he wants to have like a must see show where people are just addicted to it, where people can't help but wait for that next show. And I think he wants to see higher production value from his people, and his people want to be able to contribute that. Um, so it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and he's done 600 episodes. So I look at, okay, 2 years from now, what are things going to look like? What will that have done for me? And I mean, I think it's going to raise the money and start feeding housing and empowering people, acquiring this real estate for the people that are actually being a part of it. So, I mean, there are going to be employee stock options. There are going to be, uh, ample opportunity to invest in the company and, own a part, invest in the real estate and own a part as low as $100. Now, lower contributions, I've thought about this as well, because if you create savings plans for people, you are able to empower them to save up to invest. Whereas I see these others where they're allowing people to invest small amounts. Well, it's about that, being able to invest small amounts, but you still have to have a barrier, and they're just offloading things. And the thing is, we're raising money, and we've got to abide by laws and things like that. So I don't know exactly what I'll be able to do, but I was kind of thinking, like, okay, so it's called oxygen.com, and I have a thing that's $2 just for because Gary Vee's like, you come in, you pay $2, and then you leave. So it was kind of like a tribute to Gary and kind of just fooling around. But I have this $2 thing on my website, and I have this $100 deposit. And I was thinking, well, what if people were able to just, pay the $2 whenever they felt like it, and it kind of, would collect. So after 50, then they could literally purchase a share of stock. I wish the laws weren't so difficult with accredited investors and all that, and I know that there are rules with the crowdfunding. So I'm going to do it with, I think, WeFunder. They were one of the first. They helped write the laws. It's a very interesting platform. I don't know exactly how it's going to look. I want to do this, not just want, but need to do this as legally as possible. It's like there are so many laws, and you've got to be careful. So, I mean, I have my business that I'm operating out of, and, I'm basically taking this money, and I don't know how exactly it'll look. Maybe, a small acquisition of this company for some shares, to do something. I don't know how it's going to look, because it's the laws are so complicated, and I understand that. I understand that there are things that I need to do and be careful of, and so I'm trying to balance it all. Now, this was the Grab ATTN segment of the show. So why did I go into all that? Well, I went into all that because, I mean, the purpose of this is the tech startup. Just like Gary Vaynerchuk's purpose, I mean, this isn't really a tech startup in the traditional sense, because I already feel like we're in that unicorn $1 billion stage. I've been working on this for the last decade. It's not just like an overnight success or anything like that. It's a situation where, I've battled myself. I've battled the technology not being where it needed to be. And now being where I am, it's now possible to awaken this giant, to acquire the property, to start building. And I think that We are really on an interesting plane right now where whether you say we are in World War III or not, we are. We have the provocation, whatever. I mean, I need to provocation. I want all of us to understand we need to constantly be learning and growing and learning how to say things and better communicate. Donald Trump, I watched, his latest speech, or not his latest, but the one about the missile strikes, and he was saying tolerated, and I understand these thoughts, and partially I think maybe his dentures weren't sealed because he's like trying to keep his teeth in or something, and I feel like, it's kind of karma for saying something about Nancy Pelosi. Maybe it was just me thinking that, but all of these people are insanely powerful people, have probably made a lot of mistakes, and we really can't focus so much on other people and vouching for other people and all of that. We really need to focus on ourselves and saying, look, I'm working to be the best person I can be. I don't, Donald Trump had this guy killed. He didn't have to, do the actual killing himself. We're doing it through drones. They shot down our drone. It's getting so complicated, and, there are religions involved, and that, I spent the last hour watching a documentary on Islam. That's the thing. I want to understand. I want to understand what's going on. I want to understand the world around me. This is the rest of my life. I mean, I could be traveling all around the world. I want people to feel like they're stakeholders in their communities and really being a part of things, really learning and growing, following their own curiosity to be whoever they want to be, to design their days, to design their life. And that's what I'm doing with this show. I'm hacking my life together, not hacking in the sense of like cracking into a computer to cause problems, but I'm talking about hacking things together and breaking the life matrix to be able to live, work, play, love, learn, and pay it forward so that humanity can raise its level of consciousness to not be fighting so much. Because all this fighting, it doesn't make sense. Why would you fight and spend all these resources on fighting when you can use the power of human thought and ingenuity, engineering, to create a new future for all of us? Okay, this is the Apple Sidekick segment of the show. And right now, I'm going to talk about Jimmy Iovine, because today I was going to talk about Apple Music. Now, the interesting thing about Jimmy is that he left Apple Music, he left Apple shortly after his last payout, so from the Beats acquisition. So I'm not really sure if Apple got exactly what it wanted from the acquisition, but I don't think it really matters, because they're such a big company and they've done so few acquisitions. It's just kind of like, they pay far more than that in taxes. It's just like a drop in the bucket. So, what's my point? My point is that Apple Music sort of shaped the industry before it even existed through iTunes. And Apple has just maintained their position. We think that artists should make money, and we are working to bring the best value to the customer while putting money in the artist's pockets. I think that so I don't really need to talk too much about that. I was pretty much done with that. I was just trying to add
something to talk about. But Apple in general. So you look at like the Mac Mini, it's 15 years old today. And you look at the Mac lineup, you look at the Apple lineup, you look at the entire ecosystem. It's into everything. I mean, it started with the Mac, it started with the personal computer, and now it's music, it's your phone, it's your your TV, your everything, absolutely everything. So I just want people to remember that. What other company has done what Apple has done? Regardless of any of the negative, what other company has done the positive to put this power in our hands, not just for a profit, but to create the best product? No one else. No one that I've seen. Okay, so this is the Tesla Sidekick segment. And the interesting thing about, real quick about Apple. Google said something about an exploit, a 0-day exploit. Apple has since fixed it, but it allowed hackers to take control of phones. It allowed them to get access to your information, passwords, text messages, whatnot. I think we've seen plenty come out proving that no matter what device you use, you're going to be at risk to hacking. It's all of our, it's called Hack the Show, and it's not necessarily about hacking, but we all have to learn security practices. So continuing on with the Tesla Sidekick segment, they've offered a $500,000 prize and a free Model 3 with a 0-day exploit. I don't know if it's a competition or what it is exactly, but it's very interesting because most people probably think, well, I have nothing to do with that. That's cool and all, but I wouldn't know how to hack the device or anything, the car. I think that the more we all learn about this stuff, the deeper things are going to drive. Security is going to strengthen. We need more good guys on the security side. That's the thing. People with a good moral compass, and ultimately I think good always does win against evil. So as long as we just keep training, we don't have to worry as much about the bad people, the bad actors, whatever you want to call them. You just have to worry about creating good in the world. So that's today's Tesla Sidekick segment, is that I think everyone should be considering that they can be security experts and should be security experts. So I'm still walking, and I kind of wanted to add a little bit more in for the show because, the show really is about, as much as I like to say it's not, I guess I don't really say it's not about me. I guess I need to just say that this is really about me. That's what I'm creating. I'm creating a life for myself to help others. And I really want to bring more people together, but I'm okay with just working by myself. If all I do for the rest of my life is create, 365 videos a year for the next 30 years, I'm pretty okay with that, as long as I'm providing value to others and not just leeching off of society. And right now I'm looking at a Tesla Model 3, and it's really cool to think about that. accelerating so fast. I'm pretty sure that guy saw me looking at it. But I don't have a Model 3. I couldn't even come close to affording a Model 3 right now. But I can still provide value in regard to Model 3. I can still talk about it, learn about it, and use what I learn to help build housing, to help manufacture the cities of the future. I'm constantly learning and growing, and ultimately, I want to contribute what I can contribute, not just contribute something to make money, but to contribute in order to provide the maximum value. That's really what it's about. And I, really struggle with that because I'm constantly wanting to provide more value. I would rather give 51% and take, that's what Gary says, but I'd rather give 99% and take back 1%. That's the value exchange I would like to see. So, it's very difficult because I want to provide value, and I know I can provide value long term, but it does cost money up front. I do have to sustain myself, and I am finally, like I've said, to that point where I can sustain myself. And that's why now I'm 100% focused on this. This is my new life. This is my life's work, and I'm just working on it each day. Just each day, learning, and now I got the hiccups. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you. Have a good one. I'm going to end today's episode with the 60-second brand segment. Now, today I want to mention milestones because Tesla is working to close on the property for Gigafactory 4. It's over 700 acres, I believe, from the conversion that I did. And that's a milestone. Gigafactory 1, 2, 3, 4. The Model 3 was a milestone. It's like with Apple, all these different milestones. Now, Steve Jobs or Elon Musk could have had the ultimate vision in the very beginning, but it took hitting those milestones over years to be able to get to where they're at now. It didn't happen overnight. These are lifetimes of work and contributions being put into play. So remember that when you're setting your milestones, and understand that you're not going to get it all overnight. It's piece by piece, and it's your contribution to the world. If it was all done in an instant, what would the purpose of your life be? You've got to experience everything you experience and hit those milestones and learn and grow. And that's what my goal with the show is. Those sorts of things. Thank you for watching another episode. Have a good one.